Anyone who was in Portsmouth on Saturday would have been hard pushed to miss the colour and vibrance of Pride. The event returned to the city after 14 years. Organisers say Pride celebrates not only the LGBT community, but all corners of society. Thousands of locals, plus those from outside, descended upon Pompey. Human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell said he was proud to be involved and support LGBT people in Portsmouth. Council leader Donna Jones was also present, along with Mayor Frank Jonas. A 2-minute silence was held to remember loved ones who are no longer with us, and a march then made its way through the city centre, attracting support from passers-by. Studio now is campaigner Matt Ogston. Matt runs the Naz and Matt Foundation, which tackles homophobia triggered by religion. The organisation is named after his late partner, Naz Mahmood, who took his life after coming out. Thank you very much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. So, Pride has made a comeback to Portsmouth after 14 years. What do you think is the significance of that?
Well, the significance is that for a large part of the UK, many people felt that homophobia had gone, it disappeared. You know, we won that, that battle. But in actual fact, as proven with what's happened to Naz, Dr. Nazim Mahmood, my soulmate, my fiance, who sadly passed away last year, it's that, people are so homophobic still in so many parts of the UK, in particular, the communities that are, deeply religious and follow their religion. And in many of the religions, they teach that, homosexuality is a sin and it's forbidden. But how can you forbid the way somebody's born? You can't. And I think, as proven with, with Pride yesterday in Portsmouth, it's really just highlighting the fact that we need to keep talking about this. We need to keep making a mark. We need to keep talking about it in the press, the media, to people, communities, to kind of really make people aware that it's not gone away. Homophobia is still here. It's just probably not spoken about as much because the communities where it exists so heavily, they don't talk about it outside their own community. In fact, they don't even speak about it outside of their own families because, many religious families, having a gay person within their family, to them, it brings shame on their family. And so they won't ever tell anyone outside of their immediate family or their community, or they won't tell anyone if they suspect someone in their family is gay. And when that young person comes out, it's so ridiculously hard because if your family won't accept you, your religion won't accept you, your community won't accept you, your community leader won't accept you, imagine how hard that is because you've got nowhere to go. You got no help. And that's why I set up the Naz and Matt Foundation last year as a place where individuals can come and talk, on the phone, on telephone, or in person, by email, to really just let individuals know that they're not on their own, and we are doing something as much as we can to try and help solve this problem as quickly as possible. But to do it, we need to come together and talk about it, and then take action. And events like Pride yesterday are really important to that. And what was so lovely to see yesterday was, in actual fact, that it felt at that moment in the park, it just felt, where is the problem? Because everyone there was so wonderful, so lovely, so accepting of people of all ages and religions were there. But the thing is, that's fantastic to have so many lovely people go out on the street and march to make their stand, but we need to take that message out to the areas in the UK where it's not so positive, where it's not so great to live just because of the way you're born. And yesterday's event was so important to raise that conversation, and the fact that I'm here, talking to you today is evidence that something like Portsmouth Pride has a real big opportunity and impact to allow people to continue to talk about how we're going to solve homophobia.
And I just want to ask you a bit more about Naz. Obviously, it's a very personal story and very tragic events, but what do you remember about Naz? What kind of person was he?
Naz was and still is the most inspirational man that you will ever meet. He was funny. He was incredibly good looking. he was generous, he was kind, he was always giving, he was always trying to make, you know, other people really happy. He was a GP. He's inspired me in everything that I do and everything that I'm ever going to do in the future. Naz was Dr. Nazim Mahmood. He was 34 years old, sadly, when he passed away. He was a GP, he won his own chain of successful clinics, and everyone who ever met Naz, you know, fell in love with him because they just, you know, just became addicted to his warm personality and his generosity in everything that he ever did. He always put everyone else first. He just wanted to just see that smile on their face, and to have Naz, you know, go so quickly, so suddenly, for me, it's been so devastating. But his energy hopefully lives on through the work that I do, and everyone who knows him, you know, backing our foundation to try and make this change, because they can't face ever seeing anyone so beautiful and inspirational and gorgeous as such a young man to ever, you know, disappear again off the earth just because of the way he was born.
And what was the reaction from his family? Can you tell us what happened there?
Yes, what happened was last July, during the Festival of Eid, we travelled up to Birmingham to see our families. I went off to see mine, and Naz went off to see his. And a family member of his, we had to leave in a hurry to come back to a friend's funeral in London. And as he was leaving, a family member said something, and I don't know what was said, but something was said to him so hurtful that it made him break down in tears. And now, if you've ever met Naz, you'd see that, you would know that he was such a strong man inside. He would never let anyone cry. So I don't know what was said, but something was said that just devastated him so much that, you know, another close family member, it's not fair to keep naming names, but a very close family member, a parent, came up to him and said, you know, why are you crying? Why are you crying? And I don't know why this next question was asked, because I just don't know whether was the conversation before connected. I don't know. But the question was asked, are you crying because you like men? And because Naz was so honest, you know, when asked a question, he would always answer honestly. And at that moment, after 13 years of, you know, being with me, we were engaged to get married. After 13 years of being together, that question was asked, and he responded honestly, and he said, yes, it is, and I'm in a relationship with Matt. We're engaged to get married. You know, we want to have a really happy future together. And then the reaction from that family member was, we need to take you to a psychiatrist to get cured, you know, to cure you. But as a gay person, you've been on such a journey yourself to, first of all, understand who you are, then realise that the world around you may not accept you. Once you realise that you're born gay and you've accepted it, and once you've accepted yourself, you then have to try and get people around you to try and accept you as well. And when told by your family you need to get cured, it's essentially saying you're a disease and you need to go. You need to get rid of you. And Naz's reaction was, why do I need to be cured? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just trying to be a good person, do good things in my life. You know, why can't people just accept me for, you know, who I am? And then that conversation wasn't finished, and then because we had to shoot back home to London for our friend's funeral, and that conversation was left unfinished. And sadly, 2 days later, I went to work. I just started a new job. Naz had the day off because it was Eid still, and we'd had the time off because we were supposed to be in Birmingham, but we came down to London for our friend's funeral. So Naz had the day off, and about 6 o'clock, I received a phone call, you know, from my family well, I got a text message first to say, you know, ring me now, and I was at work, so I just ignored it for a couple of minutes, and then it was, you know, you need to call me now. I called back home to my family in Birmingham and said, you need to go home now. Where's Naz? And I said, Naz is at home. And they said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I've spoke to him at lunchtime. We were laughing and joking as much as we could to try and, you know, our sense of humour was to try and make jokes about hard things in life, because then you can get over them. And he said, is Naz is at home? And I went, yeah. And he says, where are you? I'm at work in Soho. I said, you need to leave home leave work now to go home. And I said, why? And they said, I'm sorry, we can't tell you, just need to go home. And then everything's racing through your mind. Why do I need to go home? You know, Naz is okay because I spoke to him at lunchtime, and my family is okay because they just spoke to me. But why do I need to go home? Is there something? Is it like a bomb scare? Is an explosion at the flat? Has it been a burglar? What is it? And then so I raced home, you know, pushing past everyone, because now I realise something really serious is wrong, because this is so not normal. This request to go home. And as I ran up the hill to where we live, there was police tape everywhere and police lights, and the whole area was cordoned off. And then, as I went running over, because our building was sealed off, and I went running over, and clearly something was to do with our building. But then, as I went running over, I saw a red blanket on the floor, covering a person up. Now, and that's when I lost it, because that's when the reality kicked in, because if there was something wrong with Naz, somebody would have said there's something wrong with Naz. And I hadn't spoken to Naz since lunchtime. We tried to get a hold of each other in the afternoon, you know, we kept, you know, texting each other and then calling each other, but we couldn't get through to each other. And that's when I just lost it, and I went crazy, and the police had to, you know, lock me in the back of the police car, and after, you know, being questioned in the car, they said I have to leave, and they drove me off to a friend's house. And you know, they told me in the back of the car that sadly Naz wasn't alive anymore. And it was too difficult to cope, because this coming out to Naz coming out to his family. Well, I think he didn't come out; he was confronted about it. You know, he didn't. He made a decision several years ago that he would never come out to his family because he feared what would happen. And we moved from Birmingham to London because we feared what would happen as well. You know, what would happen when they find out? Would they try and stop us? Would they try and make us apart? Would they try and change us? Would they be, you know, aggressive? What would they do? We just knew it wouldn't be positive. And Naz had made a decision after many years about thinking about it and talking to me, but it was his own decision that he would never ever come out to his family, because this is the product of him finding out, and it was just too much for him, I think.
And obviously, I can't imagine, you know, dealing with that pain of losing someone so close to you like that. But starting the foundation, and Naz would be so proud of you, I imagine, carrying that work, your hard work forward against homophobia triggered by religion. What kind of things are you doing now? What are you active with the foundation?
Well, we're you know, you know, this is a whole new world to me. I'm learning as I go along, and thankfully there's been so many people offering the support to volunteer, to provide anything we need, and we're listening to what the community wants, or what they need, or what they need most. Or, you know, I can't make up what we do, but I'm listening to what people need, the services they need help with, or the support they need, the conversations, the meetups they need, just a place to contact to just to help them through it. And sometimes people contact me just to get it off their chest, you know, just to get it out there and say, this is private and confidential for Matt's eyes only. I just need to just say it. And just saying it, I hope, is giving them some peace. But things that we're doing is, in April, I walked 150 miles from London to Birmingham, London being our home, and then Birmingham being where Naz's physical body's, but, you know, resting in our hometown also. I walked 150 miles, closely accompanied by our dear friend Louise Port, and she says she wouldn't let me walk all that way on my own. But we walked 150 miles over 8 days, and we had like 100 people. We had, well, about 200 or 300 people joined us for an opening party the night before we started. And we had 100 people join us for the start of the journey the next day. And then throughout the week, we had different friends and family, you know, coming in to join us along the way. And we got to Birmingham, and there was another closing party with a Club Carly and Sarti Night. Both helped us out. They need special mentions because they've been amazing. And then we walked the last 5 miles from Birmingham City Centre, and I think there's about 25 people joined us for that last 5 miles. And what I'm so thankful to everyone who got involved, because the press have been amazing, and thanks to the press supporting our journey, and you know, continuously asking me to do interviews as I'm walking when I've got bags everywhere. But the great thing is that we raised £12,000 to continue our work, and we've got to use that money wisely, and we don't know what to spend our money on, because we're not spending it because we have the money. We're going to spend it on things that we need to spend the money on. And one thing that we're going to do is a self-funding event next month, 30th of July, it'll be the 12 months to the day since Naz passed away and joined the Angels. And I don't know how I'm going to get through that day, but one thing I do know is that Naz would want me to try and do something positive, to try and create some humour and some laughs and some jokes. And so I'm hiring out the Everyman Cinema in Hampstead, and we're going to do a very special evening event, which we're going to use to raise more money, but also raise visibility. We're going to be showing a short film that I've been working on over the last 11 months about our foundation and our journey and Naz and I's life, to try and continue to raise awareness. We're showing an exclusive music video from Asifa Lahore, she's the UK's first out and proud gay Muslim drag queen, and she's been incredibly supportive of our work over the last 11 months. And also then we're going to show a gay Bollywood movie called, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the details, but it's a gay Bollywood movie. We've been given special permission to show this movie by the producers and the distributors for one night only, and it's called The Evening to Find Acceptance, and it's an evening to talk about acceptance. And so that's the next event in July.
Absolutely vital work, Matt. And just for anyone who does want to have a look at the website, if you can just give us the address.
Yes, of course. It's www.nazandmattfoundation.org. If you just Google Naz and Matt Foundation, we're also on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your story as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're watching Solent Weekend News. Coming up on the programme.